portion of West Tennessee under a flash flood warning as well. If you go to WNWS.com or our Roku app or Fire TV, you can also see that radar up there in that green boxes where the flash flood warning is in effect. Covers quite a few counties: Crockett, Gibson, Lauderdale, Carroll, Gibson, quite a few counties. So keep that in mind if you're going to be out. And again, that tornado watch in effect till noon today. Eddie Holmes, our master meteorologist, the Minister of Meteorology, will be joining us throughout the day to update us on that weather. Again, 68 right now. Showers and thunderstorms expected throughout at least most of the day. Another line of storms approaching from the west, and we'll be moving in ahead of that cold front that's going to be coming through. We could see some more dangerous storms out of that. As far as the high temperature, we probably are pretty much close to that right now. Temperature's going to be falling once that cold front comes through. We'll drop down all the way down to about 31 degrees overnight tonight. Imagine that, 70s over the last couple of days, 31 tonight, the expected low. Cloudy on Friday with the high temperature only about 43. We're going to have gradual clearing as the day goes on. And then on Saturday, well, let me mention the low Friday night. Didn't want to, but 25 below Friday night. And then on Saturday, sunshine again with a high back up to about 51. We should stay above freezing for quite a few days. As a matter of fact, before midweek next week, we'll be back up into the 70s. So welcome to February in West Tennessee, folks. Again, right now it is 68. We have cloudy skies and some rain out there. A few texts we'll get in before we go to our guest here in studio. This one comes in on the Man's Record Service text line and says, "That was my favorite TV commercial when I was little, the Kelly's commercial. When I was little, jumped down out of my chair to go see it." This one comes in on the text line, says, "Tell the investigator to tell a funny story." We did that yesterday. We did that yesterday. We're not doing that one again. This one comes in on the text line, says, "Start over, Mike. You were preempted by a weather warning." Can't do that. But what you can do is at 8 o'clock this evening, if you want to hear that story I was talking about with the prisons, you can find that at 8 o'clock tonight here on Wake Up 731 with replay on Roku, Apple, and Fire TV, and also at WNWS.com. We have a replay of the show during that time. This one comes in on the text line, says 15 prisons in the state, 3 are specific for women. Appreciate that text coming in on the text line. Guest in studio this morning,
Special
Julie.
guest in the studio, Miss Laurice Lanier.
Yes.
We haven't had a chance to visit, but so glad to have you.
So glad to be here. It's exciting.
And
Yes.
I know that you have some news that you want to share. Of course, the Pat Brown studio is so familiar to so many,
Yes.
and lost Miss Pat Brown just a few
Yes.
months ago, unfortunately, and her son and daughter keeping the studio alive.
Yes, Kim Turner's doing a great job. She really is.
Which your news has to do with that studio.
Yes. So several months ago, I wasn't prepared for it. So I said, no. Kim had asked me, she said, would you like to collaborate with Pat Brown Studios and instruct and do private voice lessons and work with our students so they can become triple threats? I was like, well, I would love to do it. At that time, it wasn't, the right time. So I told her about a month ago, I said, let's do it. Let's just do it, and I'm ready to get back out there and just, perform and be with my arts world and my colleagues and just get
Your
going.
people.
Yes, my
That was a
people.
call I always said, "That's
I
my
said,
people."
right. I took my time off and I'm just ready to, go. I came back home to, help my parents, my parents, my father, has dementia, and my mother, of course, she's post-kidney, post-liver. So just being what I should be for my parents. So, I still
know
have,
you recovered from
yes, and I was
issues
ill.
yourself.
Exactly. So it's just been a wonderful journey, though. I'm very thankful and grateful to be here and still have my voice.
Now, you've had or taught before. Have you done
Yes.
voice instruction
Oh
before
my
you
goodness.
came
Yes,
to
I
Jackson
had a
Studios?
very successful studio in Hampton Roads, and I was Virginia. And I was also a contractor for Langley Air Force Base, where I work with the Tradoc Band and vocals and all of that. So I really enjoyed that.
Going to bring all that to
Yes,
students in Jackson.
yes.
Are you taking students now?
Yes, I am. We started registering students at the end of January of last month. And now we're taking students in. We started lessons actually last week. So it's just been wonderful. And so many gifted young people here in this area. And also we're doing this area, and then also I'm offering the lessons online throughout, the United States too. So, right.
Not in
The area, yes.
Because you have such an accomplished career all over.
It's a blessing. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful.
I remember I went and I covered a story when I worked at Channel 7, and that was in like the mid-90s. And I think you were still in high school.
I was in high school, yes, ma'am.
And I just remember, Tom Britt said, you'll enjoy covering this story, but he said, Laurice Lanier is singing. She said, high school students, you're not going to believe her voice. It's like, okay, well, I was going to go and cover my story. And
yes.
Got up and sang, and I will just not forget it. And I think it was something outdoors at the farmer's market.
Oh, wow. I've heard a lot of people mention that. And, I don't remember that.
You probably
That's
know.
weird.
A couple of years ago.
Oh, wow.
But
I got to see you, so
I just,
okay.
Yeah,
it makes me feel weird when I try to talk to somebody and I can't see them.
I know it's odd. It really is.
But you have went to Juilliard and
yes.
studied and studied and taught and performed, and what a life you have had.
Yes, it's been interesting. I tell you, it's not to have a gift. It's a responsibility. It really is. You just say, "Oh, I'm gifted and I can go around." It's not that easy. It really is. It's responsibility.
That kind of gift. I mean, I guess you either cultivate that and what
yes.
you have to do to achieve.
You have to refine it. It's very important to always remember it's a gift. So you always want to make sure you refine your gift. And some people say, oh, I have a gift. Oh, I don't need anything. You never stop learning. You never stop learning, no matter what. If it's, if you're an attorney, if you're a vocalist, whatever, you never stop learning. And that's the greatest thing about it.
It's so different because you cultivate such a different part. I mean, there are people who sing. And
that's right.
And you can almost... when they sing it looks like it's part of them. When an opera singer sings, it's like somebody else is in there.
That's right.
Coming out.
The character.
That's what's so interesting.
Right, because you have the diction, you have the languages, you have the coachings, you have to understand your character, what's really going on in the text. It's a lot to it. It really is.
It's not like just like when you're singing and performing in like for a regular singer.
Oh, no, ma'am. No.
That's what it feels like. Another person.
It is.
It is. Does it feel like that when you're performing?
It does. It really is. Because you're in the moment. And really connecting to the text and what's going on in your lyrics, and and some, like I said, in opera you have languages, so you really have to understand that, and then you have to learn the rules of the language, which we call the International Phonetic Alphabet. So like in between two vowels, you open the E. It's so many different, and then you have to bring it all.
There's no way I could do that. There's no way I could be thinking about everything I'm doing as I'm singing.
You could.
No, everything that I do is academic.
I see.
Basically it is like doing a show like this. You do things without realizing you're doing it. So that would be an acquired talent that you have to learn how to do those things without thinking.
That's right. Well, that's true. That's true.
You just do it. Unless you do it naturally.
I was looking at your Facebook page, and it's like a who's who of who has done something. Because you have got such a list of accomplishments. All the way down. Tell me about the Three Mo Divas CD. And the people involved in that.
I'm telling you. So the creator of that show is Marion J. Caffey. He first created Three Mo tenors, and these are classically trained tenors who can sing blues, jazz, soul. I mean, a little bit of everything, even some country. They can do a little bit of everything. And then it was very successful with the PBS stations across the United States and actually overseas. It was wonderful. So then he was like, I'm going to take 3 classically trained women who are versatile, who can do jazz, blues, soul, and everything. And he did that, and that was very successful. We also aired on 786 PBS stations and performed a tour for about close to 10 years. So I was on the road, for a long time. It took so much out of me, though, living that lifestyle, and also had something to do with my health also, because you're not, you're performing.
I was looking at some of the people that were involved in that itself, like Alicia Keys, and there's not a name you're not going to know.
Yes.
Alicia Keys, Jay-Z, the Black Eyed Peas, Rihanna,
yes.
Kanye.
We were definitely out there. Yes. And we were performing all over the world. Yeah. And the best thing about it is I could still have my classical, but then we could just let it go. we call, would say, let it rip. Let's just let it go, you know?
Mhm.
And I love that because I didn't want to be boxed in. I never want to be boxed in. I want to keep my training, but at the same time, you know, I came out of the church. I'm a preacher's daughter. You know, I've always wanted just to have
Does that
that
mean
free.
you're wild? Because that's normally what you hear.
Well,
Preacher's
you
daughter's
know,
one you got to watch out for.
well, I went through that. I have to admit, I'm very transparent. I went through that stage. Okay, you know, I had the blonde hair. I was kind of off a little bit, but you know, let's not talk about
You reined it back
that.
in. You reined it back in well, Laurice.
I was a mess. I'll tell you. But you know, it was. You're a teenager. You're having fun.
Do you find it more that people in the opera world pretty much stay on that thread, or is it more the exception or the rule that they veer off a little bit?
I believe artists, anyway, veer off a little bit.
Yeah,
You know.
like more variety.
Yes.
Well, let me ask this then. So your students that you'll be teaching, are you teaching? Are you teaching opera?
No, no.
Or just to cultivate that voice.
If you have,
that voice is.
let me tell you, if you have, I tell my students, if you have a strong foundation in your breathing technique and in your vocalies, which are your vocal exercises, that breath control and learning how to control that breath, you can play with your voice. You can, crescendo, decrescendo. You can get loud. You can get soft. You can do whatever because your technique is your foundation. Without technique, you can't do anything.
I remember that when I was early years of singing, when they start teaching you like the diaphragm and how to push your voice and pull it back. And breathing is one of the most important things I think.
Number one
in singing, because you hear the greats, how they can take a note or lines from a song.
That's right.
And just keep going with it. And you're thinking, they're going to pass out.
That's right.
If they don't take a breath here in a second. But that's something that
right.
either it's a great gift that you have automatically, or it's something that has to be taught.
Right. That's right. Well, you know what? I have had students who do not have a voice at all. And I had to create a voice. And the way you can create a voice is by the breathing technique. You start to create the tones because they start singing on their core and connecting to their body. And then I even taught a deaf student, which is really interesting. Yes. In Virginia, I did Newport News. But once you can learn how to really stay connected, start learning those breathing techniques and then sending that sound out, not down, not up, learning how once you go higher, you open, you go lower, you open, that soft palate lifts and that throat opens up. I mean, you just learn. And that's how even I can go from opera to belting because I learned how to mix it. It's almost like biting into a hoagie. You just literally.
Do you teach without the use of microphones or something?
Yes, because you can do that too.
And that's a great way to. It's a tool where people have to learn.
I don't use mics. I don't use them until we can perform in a certain location and we figure all that out. But
as far as people in the back of an auditorium and you're up there on the stage by yourself and they can't hear you, you need work.
Right. And the thing is, I told a student last week, I said, how do we sing through an orchestra, a band, or a piano, or a keyboard? It's learning how to open that throat and send that sound out, straight out on the breath, because you want that sound to ping through those instruments.
Yeah.
I remember Pat Benatar when she was in
yes.
And it came out, she was trained as an opera singer. Of course, she was just rocking and growling all over the place. And everyone was like, no. But that's what you're talking about.
That's right.
You get the basics. You can sing anything.
You can do anything you want to. There should be no limits.
I guess she just flipped the switch.
Yes. And then, too, once you have that soul or that grit inside of you, whether you do rock, whatever you do, country, it doesn't matter. Once that's in your soul and you have a good technique, you can just have your way.
Yeah. I've judged so many talent contests over the years, and there's some people that you can just hear that, and think, oh, if you just had a little instruction,
That's right.
Just get that breath or open up, I'm just sitting there, trying to think.
Because I didn't grow up in a house full of opera. It happened because I started studying, especially right here at First United Methodist Church under Faye Hainline.
Did you really have any training before high school?
Yes, you have to. Oh, no, it started at 14. No, I did not. I did not.
So and I guess you learned what you did?
I started training at the age of 14 through actually Jean Hammonds was a course teacher at Southside High School.
Oh, okay.
And she was playing organ at First United Methodist Church. And my mother was like, we really need someone to, work with Laurice and voice. And Jean Hammonds told my mother, we have Faye Hainline who teaches voice at First United Methodist Church. And she actually teaches in the church, in the chapel. And my mother called Faye Hainline, and Faye Hainline was like, oh, no, I have too many students. I can't. Mom said, you really need to hear her. Just hear her. So
Just wait.
she said, listen, she's someone you need to work with,
So you had a tremendous amount of support from your family.
Yes, my mother and my father, they pushed me. I mean, I'm telling you, my mother had scheduled piano lessons in 1986. I was 6 years old. No one asked me. I was like, Mom, you didn't ask me. I didn't really want it.
Like,
I mean, Dad, you know how it is. Every preacher wants the child to play an instrument.
I had a friend, and this just always kills me because she had a high school course.
Oh,
she was
wow.
a high school course teacher, and I'd go to their shows. I'm like, who is that kid? Who are these kids? And every once in a while she'd say, we have programs, not one person. They don't have one person in the audience.
Wow.
And I'm just broke down. She said, there's about a half a dozen I have of these really good performers, and they get up there, they work as hard as anybody.
Yes.
And don't have any. And I started to cry. I said, you can't mean that. She said, yeah, I do. She said, there's a half a dozen of them up there. And I promise you, they never have anybody in the audience. And it still breaks my heart to think about it.
Wow.
And the parents don't even know what they have. I said, well, should I send them, what can I do? And then of course the show would come and go, and then it would be another time. But I think about how, in some of them you just really wonder, what happened, but what a blessing.
Yes.
That you had that environment and that nurturing.
I'm telling you, it was.
Somebody to support.
And you're young, you're not really understanding the full picture,
No.
but I'm very, very grateful now. I am. I'm thankful.
I'm sure. Now, is your daughter? I know you have a senior.
Yes, she's a senior.
So is she in music?
She does sing. Yes.
Did you push her like your parents pushed you into?
I was very careful because I grew up in a very strict household. So like I tell her, I wanted her to blossom in her way. Of course.
I don't think that's true with anybody who's really been.
I was very careful with her as far as pushing. Oh, I want you to sing. I want you to,
you
she's
put her on a keyboard at 6.
No, but I gave her voice lessons and piano and things like that. But it was not as, I need you to do it now. We would do it where she could just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then of course, her love is really dance. So she was. Yes, in ballet for a long time. And then her academics took over where she said, I want to be an attorney. I really want to do this. So that's how she ended up getting into New York University.
Oh, that'd get Mom out of trouble later in life.
Yeah.
That wild streak kicks back in, Laurice.
So I wanted her to find her own way.
Yeah, so she'll be going to
Yes.
New York.
Yes.
How's that gonna?
That's
I just have one, too. And even if they're an hour away, it's too far.
Yes, but I'm thankful. We have family. We have my aunts and uncles are there, and I have a lot of colleagues who are still there who are excited. They know she's coming. Yeah. So I'm telling you, I'm going to have spies everywhere.
But I've always, for people who only have one child, and I know very many, because they're first, last, and people and I keep things.
Right.
Get rid of that. Well, that's the only one. It's not like I have 2 or 3 others. I'm passing down stuff. That's it. And then when they're gone, it's very much of a change.
I'm praying I don't have a breakdown.
Well, I remember at graduation, I thought about it from the time the first day of school.
Mm-hmm.
I thought one of these days it's gonna be over, and I was standing there during graduation. I thought, not losing it, not falling apart.
I don't know about me.
All part of the process, and she's gonna be fine, and we're all gonna be fine.
Oh, you're so strong.
That's all I could take in at that time. But she's 4 hours away. But
okay. That's still
there's a reason for that, by the way.
I'm telling you, it's not a game. It's scary.
It's easier to love from far away.
Yes. Wow.
I almost started doing this show from 4 hours away too.
Are you serious? Oh,
No.
Julie. This is scary.
Well, we certainly wish. What did we need to get information about?
Okay.
Laurice Lanier is with us, and she has started teaching voice instruction at Pat Brown School of Dance.
Yes. I also too with that, I'm still offering my in-home, online and in-home also.
In-home.
If you're
Okay.
local though,
Yeah.
we do the in-home lessons and we do online also.
Do you have a Facebook page?
Yes, I do.
Probably the easiest
Yes, and
way
actually
to
they
do
can
it.
contact me. We have Lanier Studios LLC. That's the Facebook page. Then also we have the website, which is Laurice Laurice Lanier Lanier Studios with an S.com. Or you can call 800-763-6909. You can call or text that number.
Okay, one quick question. Are you going to be performing anytime?
We're planning, you know what? We are planning, but I am planning first a European tour because I want to start in Europe, London, and I really want to. We're talking with booking agents overseas, and then I plan to come back here and bring all of that here. And then I'm also working on music of my own and then some covers and things like that and start that overseas and then also bring that back. And that will be a very versatile, I'm telling you, versatile performance.
Well, we will keep tabs on you.
From opera, it will be everything.
Yeah.
Soul, blues, jazz, everything.
We look so forward to visiting with you.
Yes,
again.
I'm excited.
We'll
Yes,
keep
thank
up.
you so much for
Thank
having me.
you. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Next time you come in, we do a duet.
Oh, come on, let's knock it out.
Next time.
Oh, okay. Don't talk out. Look.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that time. Great, it's a great pleasure.
You too.
It is 8:27. We've got to make our way out of here. Of course, again, Eddie Holmes will be updating us about the weather throughout the day. And he'll do that with Seabass, who is on the way next with Everybody Talks. Have a good day, y'all.
Thank y'all.